how has the discussions been with developers, architects? Could we have one on stage? The design teams, the project managers, are they going to actually change from more on the floor than on the ceiling? Or are they?
Well, let me tell you.
Are some of them still cutting and pasting the old drawings from the last projects they were working on?
There's a gentleman in America, Amory Lovins, who has a story. He calls it the Aesop fable instead of the Aesop fable. It's the M and E, Aesop fable. And he says all they do is because of the way in which the design fees are structured, nobody wants to go and do a whole pile of extra work if they don't have to. So the Aesop fable is the mechanical engineer goes to the drawer, takes out the drawing from the last project, shapes it a little bit to suit the new project, cuts off the title block from the old project, sticks on a new title block, sends it to the client for approval, and immediately gets approval. The design process then goes in and the construction goes ahead, and you sit back for 15 years waiting for the complaints to cease, and then you repeat the story all over again. And this has been a problem we've had because of the procurement process in the construction industry. If you have a fee for doing a job and you actually work harder to reduce the cost and to reduce the materials, that fee automatically is less at the end of the day. So it's a perverse situation where the harder you work to achieve sustainability, the less you earn. So we need to look at how we even appoint people to do the job in the first place. And very simply, if you consider whether you would like to use a heart surgeon for your heart, and you said to them, we'll pay you on a fee basis of how much material you use, can you imagine how much nylon stitching you would have around your heart in order for him to make his money? Or would you rather pay a guy to do the microsurgery and to have spent money and time learning how to minimize the amount of material he needed to use on your heart? And think about it as a personal issue, and it changes the picture completely. Everybody says they will sort it out. They will find the energy. They will find the solutions. What I'm delighted by with what you're doing, and what you're doing with this instruction to developers, is that legislation must come in now. It doesn't have to be hard legislation, but it needs to be strong guidelines, because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
And Michael, if you could tell us a little bit about the Shanghai Tower.
An invited design competition organized by the city of Shanghai, and they wanted to set a new benchmark for sustainability throughout the world. This building is being seen as a leader to demonstrate to the world that you can make a sustainable building that provides a high quality of space for its users and is economically viable and will make a profit. This building is designed to make a profit. It's not a vanity project. It's not a statement of some sort of academic ideal. It is actually a profit-making entity. So I think the first notion there was to show that it can be done. The second notion was to design an intelligent building that used all the knowledge and technology that we have today to the highest extent possible. So a lot of the systems that we've all talked about have been incorporated into this building. There's a lot of active measurement and management of the energy, lighting, air conditioning, heating. There's the use of ultra-low carbon emitting and producing material. There's a very, very aggressive strategy of sourcing material locally. For instance, if you notice, a lot of the material down at the base of the building is copper. Why copper? Well, it's a great material, it's beautiful, it's durable, and it can be sourced locally within the Shanghai region and processed. So, I mean, we made a lot of decisions such as that I think set the standard. And there's a high level of the site has been given back to recreation usage. If you've ever been in that new development of Pudong, it can be pretty grim. You know, it can feel really, really grim and anonymous. And we've dedicated about 2/3 of our site to parkland. So I think, you know, all of these things are happening, and what I like about it is there's no one big idea. There are lots of ideas, and the issue is when you design a project at this scale of a building or a township or a new town or whatever you want to do, it's important to do lots of little incremental things, and don't ever think that one single silver bullet's going to solve everything for you. It's little things, each of which builds upon the others, and each of which work as a system and mutually support each other to produce a holistic aspect of sustainability. Because again, it can't just be the environment, it's got to be the people, the economy, the future, you know, the education. If all you're doing is saving electricity, that's not going to save the world.
That's right. Well, I hope you'll invite us all to the opening party.
Right.
And it's good you bought all the copper last year because I know it's like
Yes.
they're hitting record highs today, so you have to find
Yes.
some new materials for the next building. Any sort of pearls of wisdom or comments or little things that you would like to leave with the audience? And maybe Glan, I would start with you, and well, as we started at the beginning, and just any sort of little bits of pearls of wisdom you may have.
I can say that I think for sustainability, or to improve sustainability, to have more sustainable buildings, you've got to look at a different way of integrating the design teams and the procurement process, because as long as there's a bottom line for, say, the developer who sells on the building to a tenant, there's no connection in the consideration there of the future running cost of the building. So I think there's got to be a far more integrated approach, and I think, Michael, you're using that a lot more in your designs, where the mechanical engineers and the structural engineers are working to create
the BIM, the building information modeling. Yeah.
And without overdoing it, the statement that I work on is that with the underfloor air conditioning, one of the things that is very fundamental is that we're using the concrete as a thermal mass in the building, and the air is flowing over that concrete. So it's a working together of the teams, and that then needs the construction companies to understand these new technologies as well. Otherwise, you just end up with chaos, and you've got to have some educated people, and that comes back to the fee scale and the tendering process. Why do you have such low price projects when you know at the end of the day that they're not going to do what you specify? So it's a big issue.
Thank you.
Well, I would say sustainable development is a journey, and there's constantly new ideas and new technologies that are coming to the forefront. So like with our plans, we're still continuing to refine it and look at the requirements and see how we can better fine-tune everything. Like what Glenn says, there are new technologies coming on board, new ideas. So these get built into the plan to make the whole development and the whole sustainable performance better. And we also need to measure the requirements as well. Because no point we keep talking about sustainable development if we can't measure it. So we are also in the process of pinning down some of the KPIs so that we can track where we're going and whether we are doing as what we say we are doing. So there's no silver bullet, as Michael says. We have to do all these different things to push the plan forward.
Great. Well, thank you. Governor, any final comments?
I'm kind of representing the public sectors, actually. I've attended so many conferences and symposium activities regarding sustainability. All those meetings and the participants surprised me a lot. All came out some great ideas. So I would describe this kind of approach as an integrated approach. And everybody has some great ideas. What if we can integrate all those great ideas together? And the public sectors need to, take the lead, actually. Without providing this sustainable environment, a big environment for those sustainable architectures and the residents, it's not going to happen. So government must take action. Government must take the lead. Also learn from, all those experts, all those creators. I think it's time for us to be inspired and inspire people to participate. I also see, by taking this approach can make us profit more. I mean, everybody can profit. It's not like only investments, spending more money, but people are actually gaining more profits by doing this. So I truly encourage people to participate. And I also invite all governments, all public leaders, political leaders to participate, because it's time for us to do it. I was so surprised when I visited some cities in China, where they try to do a lot, especially in Shanghai, in some other cities in China, and they're so aggressive. But they also need help. And I believe in the future they will become the leader in this area. But they truly need assistance. And in Taipei County too. We have some ideas. We also want to learn some ideas from you guys. We also want to invite you to participate to actually create this kind of sustainable environment for human beings and all other beings. I believe it's the right approach. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael?
I guess my big words of wisdom are think holistically and think in terms of systems. Don't think in terms of the individual thing or the component. Think in terms of how that component or thing is part of a larger system, and holistically how that system is affecting everything else around it. And in terms of systems and holistic thinking, think about generations as well. If you're building something, if you're designing something, if you're renting something, if you're renting it on behalf of someone, would you want to put your grandmother there? Would you want your child to be there in 20 years? So I think what I urge everyone to do is when you're being confronted with a decision or being asked to choose or approve something, take 3 or 4 giant steps backwards and ask yourself, is this really the right thing to be doing? Don't micro focus on the one thing. Really macro focus and think holistically, is this what's going to be best for the system? That's it.